from the 15th until the 30th of this month. Okay. So the first card I have out here is the Hermit card in the reverse position, crossed by the Chariot. In the past position, we have the Star reverse, Seven of Coins reverse, the Fool reverse, Five of Coins, Eight of Cups, Two of Coins, Four of Cups, Four of Coins, the Emperor, and the Page of Wands. Okay, so the direction that I'm looking at is this. For a lot of you, there is definitely something new on the horizon. There's good news. We have the Page of Wands, which is a messenger, and it's a messenger that is bringing in brand new energy, brand new changes, brand new phase in your life, okay? Or at least news, communication from other people, or just information on how you can move forward with your life. What's happening here is the heart of this reading is the Hermit in the reverse. So the Hermit is, it's a card where we are starting to break out of that solitary confinement, that self-imposed separation of ourselves from other people. Okay, so you're going through a spiritual situation where you're looking at a scenario from all angles, and you're realizing your role in it, where you fit in, how you contributed to, that situation, and how other people have also additionally, contributed to that situation. And I'm sensing here for a lot of you, this has to deal with a situation in the past that did not play out exactly the way that you wanted. Okay, instead it might have been like the opposite. It might have been a situation that was very, very fruitful, balanced, and then for some reason it descended into chaos, is what I'm sensing, because I have the Star in the reverse, and the Star indicates to me, it's basically a card of healing. It's a card of that light in the darkness of the night that will provide you with guidance, clarity, and will light your path, okay? The Moon card is also the same thing. The moon does illuminate the night, but the moon energy is very foggy, whereas the Star is more of a hopeful energy. It deals with more of a healing, therapeutic energy. I'm sensing that for a lot of Scorpios. With Saturn out of your sun sign, I feel that you basically, when as soon as Saturn left I believe it left a few months ago. As soon as Saturn got out of your sun sign and went into Sagittarius, life was no longer at a standstill. Life accelerated for a lot of you. And as a result, there was like a lot of fast forward moving momentum. Okay, so you basically hit the ground running, through September, October. Things were accelerated, and I feel that because of it, you were very, very busy with trying to keep up with the pace of life. Okay, and now that Saturn has started to stabilize, I feel that for this month, a lot of you have done a lot of introspection. And I do feel maybe it's because to realize that, the people who is actually around you and who's actually, true and honest and is a good person to keep in your life. I feel like for a lot of signs, that tends to happen around birthday, when we realize that, who is of somebody's presence, or you're feeling an abundance of joy because all the people that you care about are there for you. So you're missing their presence. And for the other half of you, you're on the right path, and you feel like, okay, well, I'm going to invest my time, my energy in the people who are here with me. Okay, so there are definitely two groups I'm speaking to here. So let's talk about the first group. There is definitely a lack or missing somebody's presence in your life, okay? And I feel that a lot of you are going, are kind of like doing what is the best way to say this? Because it's not research. A lot of you are reviewing the past, in a more mental way. You're not going back to the other person, but you're missing the other person. You're possibly checking, calling around, seeing where they are. You're trying to figure out if they're okay. You're trying to figure out, if there is possibly even an opportunity for you to rekindle. And I feel like for a lot of you, you would jump back into that past situation and rekindle in a heartbeat. Because for a lot of you, you've realized that you let a good thing go, and right now you're feeling their absence in your life, mainly because you're starting to understand the role that they play in your life, and how that whole, Saturn transit, what lesson you had to learn from that. So I feel that, like I said, for a lot of you, it was a very fruitful relationship, and somehow it descended into chaos. It's kind of like both parties, when it started out, it was all rainbows and lollipops. Okay, it was just a really great, emotionally uplifting relationship, and then along the way, the hostilities built up. Along the way, the arguments happened, the jealousy, and slamming doors and things like that. And both parties might have lost their way. I'm not saying that it's just you. I feel like it's always, the relationship is always between two people. Both parties lost their way. We have the star in the reverse position here. So it was very, very good from the beginning, but then somehow, if you're not meant to be with one another, you both will grow apart. You both will diverge in your life path. So I feel like both parties might have lost their way, and they could never go back and find one another. So I feel like this is one of those very, very karmic split, where you can't really go back to the other person. They're pretty much in your past for good, and I have the Emperor here to prove that. The Emperor indicates, blockages, blocking out things from our past that are not serving us, so that we can move on. And with this Emperor, there is a very strong karmic block that you can't really undo, because Saturn takes away everything that is not meant for you. So a lot of you are thinking about this past person. This was a very significant, inspiring person that had a major, major contribution to the person that you are right now. This can be even a family relationship where, the family member is not in your life anymore for whatever reason. It could be a friend, or it could be a significant love relationship. But I do feel that it was significant enough where you have learned so much from that person, and the birthday season pass, or you're thinking about this person. You're spending a lot of time just trying to figure out. And the thing is, I'm sensing that a lot of you are starting to realize your contribution to the breakdown in that relationship. Unfortunately, I do feel that a lot of you are realizing this, because at the base of this reading, we do have the Five of Pentacles. And this is financial hardships, but it's also spiritual, like bankruptcy. Okay, it's sort of like, I'm sensing, like I don't feel that Scorpios are. I don't feel financial hardship with this spread. Okay, I don't sense that at all. So I do feel this is more on a spiritual level. And I do sense that it's sort of like feeling very abandoned, feeling very cast out. And the foundation is that whenever you were in this situation, the other person might have always been there for you. And you're starting to realize that now, because in the culmination of all the major holidays and the major birthdays and all of these events, and you're experiencing the lack of that person in your life. Okay, and as a result, you're thinking to yourself that maybe it was my fault. But like I said, it takes two. So if you're thinking about this when you're not operating at your best, or when you're not thinking like positively, then just don't shift the blame on yourself. It took two parties to engage in this type of a conflict. And it's also, this person is gone. This person is gone. So focus on your future, okay? Focus on new things. Focus on new things coming through, because what's crossing you here is the Chariot, and the Chariot indicates success. It indicates, reining in the disparate energies between you, like the past, the present, wanting to go back to the past, and then being hopeful for the present. This is a card of self-discipline, self-mastery, and overcoming inner conflict in order to achieve greatness, okay? So this is what is basically crossing you, and the universe is telling you to go this way instead. So don't look back, because the past is being blocked out for a good reason, because it whatever karmic lesson has been learned, that needed to be learned, has been learned from that past situation. So you need to move forward. And in terms of what's crowning you here is, you're in danger of cycling back. You're in danger of cycling back. You're in danger of reaching out to the person from the past. And you're getting like multiple cards that are corroborating the same thing. So try not to go back to the past, because we have the Fool in the reverse and we have the Eight of Cups in the reverse, which means that you're trying to re-engage the other person, but the other person is not going to respond. Okay, so it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. So move forward with your life, Scorpios. I'm also sensing that, for the other half of you that I was speaking to, this is going to play out differently. I feel that for a lot of you, the other person might be in a little bit of financial hardships, and they might ask you for some assistance. So you're going back, mainly just to help them with that situation. But then deep down that you did a lot to contribute to the relationship, and the relationship itself has always been very, very one-sided, and you weren't getting all your needs met in that relationship, whereas you gave and gave of yourself in order to prop up the other person, but they weren't appreciative, okay? They were not appreciative of your effort, and you're starting to realize that now, so there's no way you're going back to it. You might have, still lingering attachments with them, like that friendship tie, or you might have children together, joint assets and things like that haven't been sorted out yet. But I do sense as well that there is some kind of financial worries coming in from their end. They're asking you for help. So you're going to be the good Samaritan and help them in a very detached manner, but you're not going to re-engage. So it's going to play out in two extremes. So, but I don't feel there's any middle ground here where, you're on good terms and things are great. I don't feel that. It's either, you regret your contributions to the falling out, or for a fact that the other person took you for granted. So it's one of these extremes. In terms of what's external to you here is the Two of Coins. So the people around you, there's going to be a lot of, I feel like a lot of you have to play therapist this month. People are coming to you with, first of all, financial issues, or secondly, they're coming in with some type of emotional, imbalance that you have to deal with. A lot of you might be psychiatrists, that might just be your profession. A lot of you are kind of like the voice of reason in your life for the next 2 months, like the mediator, the therapist, the doctor, the one dishing out advice, and the one dishing out money in order to help others. Okay, so people around you are dealing with a lot of kind of destabilizing energy. So once again, Scorpios, it might be also a very good time right now to weed out the people in your life that are not that great for you. I feel like you have to do this, and you have very, very strong connections to people, and once you form those connections, you don't ever sever them. But it's going to be good for you to weed out the riffraff and to just keep the riffraff at bay, because people are coming to you with a lot of problems, and on a spiritual level, it does drain you, from just on an energetic level. It is draining to be around these people. They're not bad people, but I do feel that, they come in with like a sandstorm in their wake. They leave like a lot of, they come in with a lot of problems, and these are problems that they can easily sort out themselves. So I feel like, there's an energy of a little bit of a diva is what I'm sensing. It's somebody that craves attention. Okay, it's somebody that craves attention, and they will do whatever they can to get the attention. So you're dealing with people around you who are like this, and they're dramatic, and they're just they destabilize your world. Where a lot of family members get together and they are going to be complaining about their finances, their emotional situation, and a lot of it is, self-imposed. So these are things that people need to help themselves get out of, and you really shouldn't interfere, nor would it be in your best interest. I don't feel that they're going to take your advice to heart. So you really should try to minimize contact with these people as much as you can, all right? In terms of your hopes and fears, we have the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups is basically wanting to restart your life, wanting to, wanting to take up the opportunities that are presented to you. Because I feel like for a lot of you, like I said, that whole acceleration, at life moving very, very quickly. Like you hit the ground running this month. And then once things started to settle down on a past relationship, and as a result your life right now is at a standstill, and now you're finally looking at this and you're thinking to yourself, okay, it's time for me to move on because I know my role in this and there's no use anymore. So focus on the future, and you're thinking about that exactly. Focus on the future, because I have a lot of opportunities that are pretty much handed to me from the universe, and I really want to go ahead and proceed with them. So that's what you're trying to do in order to get ahead. So this inner conflict regarding, do I go back or do I move forward? Well, you have to move forward, and for a lot of you, you're hoping to move forward, and I feel for that very small segment of you that are watching this, unfortunately, you understand that you might have made some mistakes, and you're trying to reach out to the past, and you're trying to get some closure. You're trying to say your piece, and you're trying to let the other person know that you're sorry. And there's a little bit of shame. There's a little bit of shame just for a few of you associated with this situation, and you felt like the other person deserved a lot more from you, and you weren't ready to give them that, okay? So you're thinking to yourself at this point, I am ready. Will the other person take me back? The answer is no. You can't go back to this, okay? So once again, you are being blocked here. You're being blocked. And Scorpio, you're messing with like Saturn energy, which is very, very intense. So the point here is extract the lesson from that experience and just move on. Because the other person is not going to come back, and memories of that person, the lesson that you learned from that person was the whole point of that relationship. Just the lesson itself that you can carry into the future with you, that is more applicable across the board in every new relationship that you get into. The lesson is the important part. It's not the person, it's the lesson, okay? And if you are dwelling on this, if you insist on, I'm ready now, I can give that person everything that they've been asking me for, you're going to put your life on hold. And it's just not a good place to be, like being stuck in a rut or trying to reach out and there's no response. Trying to reach out without any reciprocation, without any response from the other party. The relationship, however you slice it, there was a very unbalanced, somebody taking somebody else for granted in some past Scorpio relationship, okay? So it could be you, it could be the other person. I'm sensing for a lot of you, it might have been the other person that didn't contribute, that took you for granted. I feel like it might have been an earth sign because of the Seven of Pentacles here. I feel like it might have been an earth sign, like a Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. And I feel like it was just very one-sided. But for a lot of you, well, for a few of you, I do feel that you might have also taken the other person for granted. Scorpios, you are very, very secretive as well. So, the other person might have been harboring some type of resentment because they felt like they couldn't trust you. But instead of talking about things like an adult, it's just, the ends of relationships, it's a no holds bar type of situation. So a lot of deeply buried passive aggressiveness, resentment pops up, and no one can judge. It's all fair game, whatever tactics you use to end a relationship. But the point here is that it's the lesson that is important. It's not the person, and going back to that person is not going to. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work. They're blocked out of your life, and the sooner you come to terms with this, the happier you're going to be, and the sooner you come to terms with this, the sooner you can, start your life in a better direction, in a more successful direction. Okay, so in terms of the outcome, we have some very, very good cards, and I'm glad to see this because I feel like a lot of you are still grappling with past energies, and the energies are it's sort of like okay, so for example, if you go mountain climbing and you train very, very hard for it, and all of a sudden you're up there, and you slip up, and this can apply in any scenario, and you feel weakened physically, emotionally, mentally, your your pride is a little bit hurt, and I'm going somewhere with this, but and in the process of recuperating, you were just going through, you start to see things differently, and you start to, because of the time apart. I guess I could have used a better analogy, but because of the time apart, you realize that, okay, it wasn't get to that point, so it's like a little bit of distance and objectivity from any type of a situation will allow you to see the true story, and that is that it takes two people for a situation to descend into chaos. So no matter how much you've grown at this point, no matter how much you feel like, okay, maybe I can go back and offer the other person and not take them for granted, or maybe I can go back and tell them exactly how I feel, how they've taken me for granted, maybe things will work. Well, the thing is, you might have grown, but once again, it takes two people to be in a situation. They might not have grown, so it wouldn't have worked. So the point here is just don't go back to it, because they are being blocked here. Okay, so in terms of the outcome, we do have here the Four of Coins and the Page of Wands. And the Four of Coins indicates, letting go of the old, releasing yourself from emotional baggage, releasing yourself from people, toxic people. This is a card about can't have faith in life again. Okay, so this is about letting go of control issues, letting go of control issues, letting go of the need to control everything, letting go of, like controlling and trying to so hard to direct your life a certain way, because a lot of you have learned that lesson from Saturn, which is that we are pawns in the greater scheme of things. In the game of the chess game of life, we are pawns here, and there are definitely things that are within our control and things that are outside of it. So knowing which ones, which ones are which, that's going to help you. And when it comes to overall to your life, it's kind of like you're in the you have been in the recuperation stage, I guess. And you've done a lot of mending your heart, picking up the pieces of your life, putting things back in order, and now you're okay. And because of it, you have to unblock yourself. You have to open up your heart. So this is a card of, releasing the control and opening up your heart so that you can allow new people to come into your life, okay? Positive people especially. And we also have the Page of Wands here. A lot of you are now dealing with a new energy. This is a new fire sign. And fire signs are Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising. And I do sense that if there was a past lover who might have been an earth sign, you're going to realize this is a very dynamic energy, okay? I feel personally that Scorpios, water signs are very compatible with earth signs. But then there are all kinds of earth signs out there, so it just might not be the right one for you. But I do feel there's new dynamic energy, and especially a new person. A lot of you might be dealing with an Aries. This new energy is going to jumpstart your life. It's going to bring you this sense of childlike innocence, because Aries are just they're vivacious, and they have this really intense energy about them that makes people around them feel at ease. I feel like Aries and Leos. Aries and Leos make people feel very welcome, very at ease. So you have divine protection here as well. So once again, I'm going to say that you are being blocked from the past. Okay, there's no use in going back to it because it's not going to happen. And the thing here is that you are taking control of your life. You are expanding. Your financial situation looks fine. So whatever financial hardships that you've been dealing with is basically over. You are expanding your territory. You're now stronger for it, okay? You have a lot of people. I feel like for a lot of you this month, all the hard work that you did, although the yeah, just all the hard work, but also like you're getting recognition for your assets. And this is your ability to be decisive, your ability to be very meticulous, your ability to handle people and to really shine in an emergency crisis situation. Scorpios are very good at that. You're, in a zombie apocalypse, everyone should ally themselves with a Scorpio because you know how to work in emergency situations. Your mind is clear and sharp, and you're not afraid of anything. So I do feel whatever that situation is, you bounce back and you're 10 times stronger for it, okay? So coming into the end of this month, I feel that for a lot of you who have been in the same work environment, you're coming into a managerial position, a supervisory position. You're coming up on top. A lot of you might be running, companies, businesses, and things like that. So this is a situation in which, on the heels of the Saturn transit, especially for those of you who are in your 30, who are 30, 31 now, 31 especially, you're on the heels of that Saturn return, you are being rewarded for your hard work. And those of you that have just dealt with the Saturn, transiting your sun, you are being recognized in the work environment, and things are going to be good from now on, okay? So new energies coming through. I do feel managerial positions for a lot of you, like promotions that might have been in the works for quite some time. It's finally happening for this month. I'm also sensing that a lot of you are like in charge of hiring other people, and then I'm sensing like you have people working under you, people who are at kind of like at your beck and call, and there's definitely, you're exuding a very positive vibe, and people want to be around you, and I'm sensing a fire sign that is very drawn to you and that wants to be around you, and there's possibly romantic inclinations associated with this as well. So I'm actually going to pull out another card here for the star card in the reverse position. And I have the World here also in the reverse position. So both of these cards indicate to me that in the past position, it might have been a move. It might have signified, so this is the past, for the past year, the past 6 months, okay? There might have been a recent move, and it didn't pan out the way that you'd hope, and you suffer through it through that Saturn transit, and now you're coming up on top, and you're starting to realize, oh wow, this is a positive move after all. It didn't seem like that a year ago, but now I'm in a totally different environment, and I'm very happy with my life right now. So that's just the way it is, because with the World card reversed, it deals with restriction. It deals with like open-endedness. Things are not wrapping up in the time frame that you'd hope, but finally things are coming full circle, and they are wrapping up right now this month for you Scorpios. So I do hope that you've all for those of you whose birthday, be careful about riffraff, that just people with their emotional problems, with their financial problems, asking you for financial assistance when they should have been more diligent about managing their finances. So just keep that in mind and look forward to the future, because things are looking very, very bright for you. Don't go back to situations from the past. I don't feel there's communication coming through, so don't initiate the communication, okay? Just let it go. Let it go. Just bring with you the lesson, not the person, all right? If you'd like a private reading, please visit my website. The information can be found in the description box below. And my availability and, to schedule a website, to schedule an appointment, you can do that, all of that on the website. If you have additional questions, email me at temperatestart@gmail.com. I will talk to you the end. Have a good day.